Hello one and all, thanks for stopping by. Are you a crypto fan of the Stellar network with its digital token XLM? If so, it's likely you'll also be interested in this up-and-coming AQUA Airdrop. In this video, we'll look at the requirements needed to be eligible. We'll also look at how to go about claiming the AQUA token, and we'll see how the AQUA token itself fits in with the Stellar ecosystem. So stay tuned for this and more. So why did the Aquarius Protocol come into existence to begin with? Well, it says here that Aquarius is designed to supercharge trading on Stellar, bring more liquidity, and give control over how that liquidity is distributed across various market pairs. The project increases available liquidity on selected markets on the Stellar network, creating a more usable decentralized exchange. So what's going to make this all possible? Well, it is by means of the AQUA token. It says here that AQUA is a token that powers the Aquarius Protocol by acting as the currency for governance and rewards throughout the whole project. Users need AQUA to take part in governance votes that shape how the protocol runs and where liquidity flows in Stellar. It's interesting to note too that Aquarius is the first liquidity management layer integrated within the Stellar network, providing the only reward system to incentivize market makers. Automated market makers are available on Stellar and can also be incentivized alongside traditional market makers with AQUA tokens or rewards. So what's required in order to participate in this AQUA token airdrop? Well, during this airdrop, AQUA tokens will be distributed to Stellar Lumen holders. But more specifically, eligible users must have a balance of at least 500 XLMs or Y XLMs and at least one AQUA token. And if you haven't already purchased your AQUA token, I'll go on to explain how you can go about doing that shortly. There'll be a total of 15 billion AQUA tokens airdropped, and the snapshot date on the network is January the 15th, 2022. Distribution will be made using claimable balance payments on the Stellar network. Once distribution starts, it will continue for 3 years or 36 months. And I heard on one of the forums that distribution will start no later than February the 1st, 2022. Any Stellar wallet is supported. However, some exchanges might not be supporting this airdrop, so be sure to check with your exchange to be confident that you'll actually get these tokens. So how can you go about purchasing the AQUA tokens? Well, the most popular way is to do it by means of one of these 3 applications, which are all connected to the Stellar network. The first one is the Lobster wallet. The second is Stellar X, a decentralized exchange. And the third one is Stellar Turn, which is an open source client built on the Stellar network. So we'll just look at each of these one at a time. If we click on the Lobster wallet, you can see here that it has a web interface for you to create an account if you don't already have one. Alternatively, if you'd like to have an app put on your mobile device, you can do it here via these links for your Android or Apple product. Let's have a look at Stellar Turn next. As you can see, you can create an account with them if you wish, or if you have a hardware wallet, just accept the terms of use, connect your hardware wallet and log straight in. Once you're in, you just need to quickly set up a trust line with the AQUA token so that your wallet will accept that token, and then you're good to go. It's that simple. Now let's go to Stellar X and see what that's all about. We can simply send 1 XLM to receive AQUA. Currently 1 XLM will give us 22 AQUAs, and then we can connect our wallet and proceed to execute the trade. And then we'll have our AQUA tokens. Let's have a quick look to see what the AQUA token is trading at on CoinGecko on the 7th of January 2022. It's about 1.16 cents USD. There's approximately 3 billion tokens in circulating supply, and there will only ever be a maximum supply of 100 billion tokens. Now, once you have more than 500 XLMs in your wallet and at least 1 AQUA token, You can check your eligibility for this new airdrop. All you got to do is paste your wallet address in this field here, press check, and after a few seconds, you should come up with this result. Now you may have heard that the Stellar Development Foundation have partnered with a company called MoneyGram. MoneyGram is an international payments and money transfer business based in the United States. I'd just like to show you this brief clip that is an interview of the CEO of MoneyGram and the CEO of the Stellar Development Foundation as they discuss how their partnership is changing our financial landscape.
I think from the network standpoint and from the folks that are in the ecosystem, the feedback has just been phenomenal, meaning that more and more players want to be involved in it. And they recognize the value that this brings to not just Stellar, but to blockchain generally, where it's transformational. It's an opportunity to really bridge that fiat world with the digital world. And so I think that the feedback that we're hearing is they can't wait for it to get started, and they just really want to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, and I'll just add that it's been really exciting for us in both, the investment community, investor community, along with things going on in the media and kind of promoting MoneyGram. We've been on this digital transformation for a number of years, and to really think about progressive innovation and how do we continue to push that agenda. The partnership here is so exciting for us. We've been kind of, I guess, probably a couple, 3 years, maybe longer, 4 years, maybe, that kind of Danelle and I have been talking about doing something, and so this really brings that to life. And there's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement around it, both internally and externally for MoneyGram. So it's really, really nice to see it coming to life and being able to talk about it. So it's fantastic.
Danelle, what in particular about the partnership excites you the most? What opportunities does it unlock?
I think it's the opportunity to really reach those that don't have bank accounts and those that don't actually have credit cards or wire transfers. Normally, to get into blockchain today, you really need to be able to get your cash and convert it into a digital asset. You need to be able to leverage one of those types of things, either a wire transfer, a credit card, or a bank account. This creates the real opportunity to bring the cash world into blockchain, and to make it so that folks that don't have a bank account can actually leverage their wallet for that purpose. Once they create the digital wallet by bringing the assets onto the network, for example, they can do so much. They can create yield opportunities for themselves. They can send money to their families. They can hold their assets, to hedge against inflation in their local community if they choose to do so. There's just so much opportunity. The developers on the network are the ones that are really creating this coolness about what wallets can do. But it's this relationship that brings the opportunity for these individuals who historically couldn't get into the blockchain to be able to get in. So that's the part to me that is unique and transformational and super cool. And also it just bridges this world. And we talk about interoperability all the time. This is actually the true interoperable state that we want to get to.
And anything to add to that, Alex?
Yeah, I think the most exciting and I guess maybe dynamic and interesting part for me is that you really have kind of two worlds evolving at the same time, right? We've had all this excitement over the last decade and a half in sort of the payment space, cross-border, what's going on. And that's in sort of in the traditional financial markets, right? And that is, covered in regulation and change and everything happening with currencies. And then you've sort of had this complete parallel world evolving with blockchain and digital currencies and all the excitement around that. And what I find is fascinating about both is that they really kind of have the same agenda, right? The traditional financial markets, it's all been about speed and transparency and reliability for cross-border payments. Blockchain, digital assets are trying to do the same thing in a very different way. But again, they rely on speed, they rely on transparency, and really the interoperability between the two exists in a degree. But when you start to bridge the two, the speed goes out the door and it becomes very, very slow, which I find sort of ironic. And to me, I think there's so much dialogue about, will, blockchain and crypto sort of displace the current financial markets, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's even the right question. I think for me, it's that I think they're going to run together and they're going to interoperate. I think they can both benefit each other in a number of ways, but you have to create the interoperability. We have to start thinking about how do they work and flow together. And so for me, taking MoneyGram and putting it in partnership with SDF and thinking about, how we can make that come to life is really pretty compelling. And so that's I think for me the most interesting part of it all.
Notice what is next said about regulatory compliance.
One of the things that we've really focused on in the relationship has been how do we create the interoperability, but also how do we also do it compliantly, right? And so what we're actually doing through the process steps, which you'll probably see in the video when we show you kind of how it works, is that we're actually linking wallets to names and IDs and phone numbers. And so we are creating that enhanced compliance that a lot of regulators are looking for. And I think that's also a very proactive aspect of what we're doing. So you're really creating transparency between two worlds where a lot of regulators are questioning, how transparent is this, and can we really, make it relevant in sort of a regulated world? Because I think regulators always sort of trail, right? They're always a little bit behind. They're always looking back and then trying to catch up. And I think what we're doing here is taking what we know is best standards in the regular financial system and applying that to create that interoperability as well. So there's a lot of things coming together here, which is really, really, really interesting.
Yeah, and from the compliance standpoint, there's also, this is an immutable record, right? Every time that a transaction is actually finalized on the blockchain, it's an immutable record. And having chain analysis where a company can come in and analyze the chain, it's actually something that's really interesting from a regulatory standpoint, and it's valuable to make sure everything's compliant as well. So there's a lot of concern from regulators sometimes about what can and shouldn't be done on the blockchain. But in fact, it actually removes a lot of those secrets that he mentioned about the fiat world, and it actually creates opportunity for a seamless and integrated world, but also for regulatory compliance.
Outside of the MoneyGram partnership, the Stellar Development Foundation have established new corporate partnerships with big firms like Visa, Circle, and Tala. In 2021, there have also been more assets traded on the network when compared to the previous year, with transaction volumes up more than 100%. I expect growth in business on the Stellar network to continue with Aquarius now by its side, as they both work together to strengthen future growth.